Welcome, everyone. It is Wednesday. A little bit foggy, a little chilly, but here we are, Wednesday nonetheless. I trust that everyone slept well. Me, well, I did. I woke up a little early, but meh. It's today, it's not about positive thinking. It really isn't. Right? Well, why is that? What is positive thinking? Imagine, if you will, you are in the throes of something. There's something happening in your life and you're just in it. Positive thinking? You don't want to think positively. No. You're in there and you're really feeling this thing, and last thing you want to do is think positively. For real. Because that's a very popular question. How do you just think positive, Angela? I'm like, you don't just think positive. What you remember is where thoughts originate from. If you want to think positively, your mood must be a positive one. Because your thoughts, your words, your actions originate from the mood, the mental attitude. That is what one changes. And then everything follows that. So when people ask me that all the time, well, I think positive, Angela. I think positive things all the time. I'm like, explain yourself. And they're like, well, I just always say to myself, well, good things happen to me. Everything's always going my way. I'm like, yeah. Do you believe those things? And they're like, not exactly. I just say them because I heard that if I do positive affirmations, my life will change. That's what they heard. If you do positive affirmations, your life will change. If you think positive, your life will change. What is the root mood? What is the habitual mood that you occupy mentally? That's where your thoughts will come from. If you get up and you feel good, and you go about your day, you're carefree, your thoughts are, pardon me, thoughts are like, well, it's a fun thing to do. Because your mood, it's the mood. I keep harping on it because faith comes by hearing. So the more you hear it, you'll be curious enough to test it out for yourself. And the funny thing is, we do it all the time. We tend to respond with oh, I'm not in the mood for that. Oh, I'm not in the mood for pasta. Oh, I'm not in the mood for rice. Oh, what am I for? But you see, we take that phrase for granted because we do not see the corresponding behavior between the mood and our experiences in the outside world. So positive thinking will happen if the mood is positive. And some people ask, but is anger positive? Of course it is. Why? Well, that depends on the situation you're in. It is relative. Anger is like fire. It moves you. It is quick, it's fast. So if you are in a position where you're feeling kind of sluggish, you know how people say, I was tired of being sick and tired, and they just got mad, they just got angry, and then boom, things changed. They used the fire of the anger to polarize themselves in the other direction. What? I don't understand what you mean by use the fire of anger. They did not use their anger to lash out at anybody, cuss anybody out. They used their anger and they said, that's it. Enough of that. I'm tired of being that way. I want to be this way. And they moved themselves mentally from where they are. Woe is me. I'm so sick. I'm so this. Blah. They moved from there. And they said, no, I want to be over here. I'm tired of that. And if you could see it, it's like a pivot. If you've ever played netball, you don't know what netball is? Oh dear. You're going to have to look that one up. But there's a pivot. You're on the ball of one foot and you're anchored with the other. And you move. How? The ball of the foot. To move yourself, you spin on it. So you take yourself, you spin yourself, but mentally, not physically, mentally. From the frustration over towards the peace of what you want to experience. That's what you use the anger for. There's a difference between using anger to rage and yell and cuss people out. That's misdirected because it's coming out of you, right? But if you use it to move yourself, you're not mad at yourself. You're not cussing yourself out. You're not belittling yourself. You're not browbeating yourself. You're just saying, that's it. You can do this. Come on, man. You can do this. And bam, you turn yourself towards what it is you want to do or be instead. It's like being fed up with complaining. You say, ugh, enough of complaining. Let me find things that are good. And that's what you do. It is that mental pivot that will change the mood. That's how you use your anger. You don't push it out of you towards someone. You hold it and you use it for yourself to move yourself. I'll find a better way of explaining that. Don't fret. It'll come if you still don't get it. But it is the mood that you put yourself in. I want you to hear that. It is the mood that you put yourself in, as opposed to the mood you allow yourself to be put into. You see, you and I must be deliberate in changing our mood. That is what will determine if you think positively or negatively. The mood. The mood is like a seed. Depending upon the seed that you plant, you can anticipate the fruit that comes from it. So the mental attitude can be the equivalent of a seed. So what you plant is what you will reap from that mental mood. And what do we reap from the mental mood? Our thoughts, our words, and our actions. You know, because people always say, oh, I was trying to decide and trying to figure out what the inspired action would be. You don't get to determine what the action would be. Once you make the choice, the action is determined from there. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. Angela, what do you mean? Are you saying I don't have free will? You sure do, to choose. To choose the seeds you want to plant. That's where your free will begins and ends. Or else you would be responsible for what the seed does. You go, hi, Pookie. Sorry, guys. He's awake and ready for the day. Think about it. You go out to any garden. What do? You just decide what you want to see in that garden. You decide what you want to eat from the garden. And then what do? Plant the seed that matches. And then what do? Water it, pluck the weeds. That's it. Do you do anything else? Oh, sure, fertilize. Well, you don't have control over how the seed sprouts. That's what it does on its own. Your responsibility is to choose what you would like to experience. When you choose what you would like to experience, the mood that accompanies that will bring about the expression all on its own. Remember Neville Goddard, you don't have to lift a finger to make it so. That's what he means. He means once you choose, then that thing unfolds based upon the choice made. That's why you can pivot. If you look at that, you go, oh, you know what? I don't want that. I thought I did, but I don't. And what do? Change the mood. Persistently change the mood, and that thing will change on the outside. So you can't positively think your way out of anything. It's the mood that determines the thoughts. So depending upon that mood, that mental attitude, you can predict, hello? Based on the mood, you can predict your behavior. Ask any grandmother. Ask any grandmother. You know how she gives you that look. And you know exactly what's going to happen. And then what do? You straighten up, don't you? And you start to change that attitude. Why? So that you can influence how she is going to do what? Behave after. You change the mood. You see, we do it naturally. We change the mood to influence the exterior experience. And I know it looks as if you want to manipulate someone or that's what you're doing, but you can't. No one will do what is not in them. Okay? So we don't use, you could if you wanted to, but every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. So this is why you think twice before you seek revenge. Why is that? As within, so without. You're walking around with the vestiges of revenge in your bosom. What do you think your thoughts are going to be like? Your thoughts are going to be spent trying to figure out how to best serve that cold dish. That's what your thoughts will be. Is that positive thinking? It has nothing to, no, it's the mood that determines the type of thoughts that you have. So if you are bent towards revenge, your thoughts will be focused on, oh, if I do this, is that the best way? Oh, you know what? I'm going to do this. But remember always, as within, so without. So who gets the brunt of revenge first? The one holding it. Isn't there a saying that it's like holding hot coals and thinking that you don't get burnt by them? They tell you, or you can drink this thing and you think it doesn't harm you. You cannot have those kinds of things on the inside of you and not reap the benefits of them. If you see it as a benefit and you will take your time. I mean, you see it as a benefit. Well, how does it benefit you to be spiteful? It doesn't. So you're saying I should let them get away with it? I'm saying to you, the mood that you occupy will determine the types of thoughts you have. So if you change that mood, then those thoughts towards whoever you think those thoughts are towards will change. But help yourself out and recognize that your thoughts are never against or for, they're through. Hello. Your thoughts are not against George. Your thoughts come through you. So, in order for those thoughts to pass through you, they have an effect on you. So, this is why one does not focus on thinking positively. One looks at the underlying mood that influences thought. It's what we do. You look at the behavior, because sometimes you say, "Well, I don't know what I'm thinking," because it's a lot of work to catch thoughts, right? But if you know how you want to feel, that's your mood. Once you know how you want to feel, the mood will emerge from there. Because it has to emerge from how you want to feel. Why is that? Because every effect has its cause. The same way you can use heat to generate electricity, you can use electricity to generate heat. Reverse engineering, anybody? This is why the law is so brilliant. For any facet of your life. You know how scripture says don't go to bed mad at each other? Don't let the sun go down on your anger, right? Why? Because the mood that you occupy before you fall asleep is the mood you wake up in. The mood, you just put it on pause to fall asleep. And as soon as you wake up, it plays again. The mood wasn't changed. So if you fall asleep in a particular mood, your dreams follow the same thread. You wake up, there you are in that mood again. So when you hear that scripture that says don't let the sun go down on your anger, it just simply means that what you fall asleep in, whatever that mood is that you occupy, is the mood you're going to get up in. You know how some people say, "Oh, what's wrong with you? Did you get up on the wrong side of the bed?" They went to bed that way, so they have to wake up that way. So the practice here would be to flip the mood, change it. And the beautiful thing is, we do it naturally. Naturally, we gravitate towards things that will make us feel better. You know, you realize if you stub your toe or you sprain your ankle, what's the first thing you want to do? You grab it. You hold it. Because touch brings comfort. We look at things and we do not see the naturalness of them. Oh, but that's a reflex. Yes, naturally, right? So if we take some time to practice changing our mood, we would then comprehend how positive thinking occurs. It has a point of origin. And to influence your thinking, go to the mood. I love how Neville Goddard says, you cannot break the mirror to change your face. Can you think about that for a moment? If your makeup is not right, just you can't seem to get it, you know how you put the eyeliner on, and at least for me, this is why I don't do eyeliner. I don't do makeup, but because I can't ever get the other eye to match. So I'm like, forget this. So I don't do it. And I don't like how it comes off on my clothes, so I don't do it. Now, if I'm standing there looking in the mirror and I get a little bit frustrated because I can't get the eyes to shape the way I like them with the liquid eyeliner, some would say, well, that's your first problem. Am I going to break the mirror because my eyeliner doesn't match? Or am I going to keep practicing to do the eyeliner? Hmm, food for thought. What if I put on my pink dress today and I say, well, maybe I should go with green? Do I break the mirror to have the dress go green? No. I change the dress. So you change the mood to match the outer experience. You see, it is a habitual thing. It is not something we just, oh, look, I'm going to change my mood just for this moment because I want to test it out. As soon as you change your mood, something changes on the outside. It just does. And people say, well, that one was easy. How about for something harder? Look at it and understand. If it means something to you, you've got more weight invested in it. Do you not? So the amount of weight that it bears for you, that's the amount of time and effort and energy you give it. It has to match. You can't be willy-nilly about something that means something to you. Rhythm compensates. The level of intensity requires the level of exercise. So when you take your time today, as you go through the day, and you catch how you feel, just catch it. Listen, we don't catch fireflies to judge them. Oh, look at you. You got a tiny light bulb in your butt. Ew. We don't judge the firefly. We catch it because we want to see it. Just look at it. Just catch your mood, catch your attitude, catch that behavior. And you look at it and you say, I don't think this is working for me. So let me put this to the side. You put it to the side by getting into a new mood. Practice it and see how simple it becomes. Practice it and see how simple it becomes to change yourself from one mood to the next. And it's not, you don't change from one mood to the next because, oh, look, I'm going to test it out and see. No, when you're in something, you use it on the fly. When you say, oh, I don't like this mood, right there, change it. Naturally, of course. There's something you would do naturally. And you'll realize that the thoughts change to match. So if you want to think positively, you have to get into a mood that matches positivity. You just do. That's why you practice all the time in real live situations. I've gotten a lot better at not cussing people out, but sometimes it depends on the time of day when I'm driving. Because if it's one thing I know, when outside is icy, don't wait till I am just right in front of you to decide you want to pop out from that space. There's no time to respond. So yeah, then I lean on my horn and I say, jackass. It's not a sunny day where you can just peel off and go about your way. No, look at the situation and assess it before you make a decision. You know, you take your time with these things because it's a lifetime that you'll be doing it. You're going to get up every day and live every day. So you practice changing that mood when you're in it because it's in real time. Because that's what people ask. They say, well, Angela, how do you apply the principles in real time? You live. That's how you apply them in real time. But Angela, I find that, my thoughts, I have so many thoughts and I just get agitated and all these scenarios going through my head. When that is happening, you know that it is. So you stop. You stop what you're doing and you catch it and you realize, oh, that's what I'm doing. Well, I want to be more peaceful. So what do? Deliberately inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And you inhale again. And you exhale. And you'll begin to feel your body relax. And when you feel your body relax, the thoughts begin to change to match your relaxation. I need some water. Thank you. You see, if you don't know how to stop, that's exactly how you do it. You pause and you just breathe. If that means you do 5, 6 inhales, 7 exhales, whatever, however many, doesn't matter. Just pause and inhale and exhale. Why? Because something happens chemically when you do that, inside your body. Remember the principle of correspondence. As within, so without. Your hormonal secretions are not random. They correspond to your mental mood. They're not random. They correspond to the mental mood. So, when you stop and you inhale and you exhale and you're literally calming the body. You're putting it into what? Rest and digest mode. Because you're taking it from flight or flight. With those deliberate breaths that you take. You are literally taking your body from freaking out to, ease and relaxation. And so when you do that, now your thoughts begin to change to match what you've just done. And then you have a lesson right there in cause and effect. So if you pay attention, you will recognize that the body is just simply responding to the mental stimulus. Well, you must see the evidence. So you want to start thinking positive? Get into a positive mood. What is a positive mood? Any mood that's going to make you feel good. Because my positive may not be your positive. Because I'm not you, you're not me. In our what? In the way we see things. Right? So don't be hard on yourself talking about, oh my God, I'm trying to think positive. You can't try to think positive. It occurs as a result of something. But we are so used to forcing things. You know, round peg, square hole. We're so used to forcing things. But in actuality, everything around us tells us when the conditions are right, things change. It snows when the conditions are right. I don't make it snow. I don't make it rain when the conditions are right. Cause and effect. So when the mood is there, then things unfold from the mood. So your positive mindset will come from your mental mood. And so we practice to see a couple of things. How quickly can I change my mood? How long can I hold it for? And how long can I feel the remnants of it after I let it go? Why? Because the mood is not sustainable. Because everything moves. Nothing stands still, so the mood can't remain. But what you can do is practice that mood so much so that it becomes your natural go-to mood. You practice it so much, groove is in the brain, right? That mood becomes the pathway across the field. And when you get that mood, that mental attitude set down as muscle memory, you begin to reap the benefits of it in the external world. Because every cause has its effect and every effect has its cause. So don't get caught up in, I must think positive. No, one does not force themselves to think positively. One gets into the mood and the thoughts, words, and quote-unquote inspired action occurs naturally. It unfolds in the only way that it can. How is that? Oh, that depends on the mood that gave birth to it. I trust that this makes sense for you today and that you will test it out. I trust that it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, pay attention to what you are doing on a moment-by-moment basis instead of allowing ourselves to get caught up in the tide of it all. Just slow your roll for a minute. Just stop and smell the roses, if you will. That's your cue to slow down a little bit. And this is when I get agitated or frustrated, I go and I sit on the perch that I made for the chickens. I just go and I sit on it and I watch them. And I realize that as I'm watching them, I'm not talking to them, I'm just watching them. Oh, and don't get it twisted a little bit. He's watching me, don't you worry. He's watching me. And I notice that as I'm watching them, my breathing begins to change. It begins to slow itself. This is why when you pet your dog or you pet your cat, if you're frustrated, you see the effect is bringing about a cause right now when you do that. What effect? The calming effect. The soothing effect. But what if, Angela, what if I don't have those things? What if I don't have a cat? What if I don't have a dog? What if I don't have a bird or a chicken? What do I do then? You have your body at your disposal. You can, right between the eyebrows, you'll sometimes, depending on how tense you are, you'll see those lines in between there. Funny thing is, when you start to scritch your face up and you get those lines in the middle of your forehead there, and then they just set down a groove, and it doesn't matter what you do to try and smooth them out, it just means you've been wrinkling that part of your forehead. Every time you have that particular thought, you scritch up your face, and now you can't get rid of those two lines because that is your habitual feeling. You thought they were just wrinkles? Oh, poor thing. No, they're not. It's the evidence of what you are feeling. And you see it, like if you, and here's the thing, we don't always catch it, do we? Because sometimes there'll be this frown. You don't even know that you're doing it. I want for you to become aware. Just aware of yourself deliberately, not just the fact that, oh, look, I'm breathing automatically. But some people hold their breath. Why are they holding their breath? Because of the thought they're having at that time. Cause and effect. Like if I'm deep in thought, sometimes I say, hey, are you breathing? Instead, because think about it. You're holding your breath, but then you breathe because your body says, girl, we're not about to have this happen today. We're not about to pass out. So breathe, heifer, breathe, right? So the thoughts do the exact same thing. That mood that you're in influences your breathing pattern. So if the mood that you are in influences your breathing pattern, do you not know that it influences your positive or negative mindset? It is all connected after all. So that's why you take the time to appreciate you and how, I don't want to use the word complex because it's not complex in the sense that it's difficult. It is complex in the fact that all of these things happen and they happen deliberately, not some willy-nilly random way. Your mood changes, your chemical composition changes. Well, fight or flight brings about adrenaline. Relaxation brings about the endorphins and the oxytocin. Yeah. See? Complex yet so beautifully simple. So don't be so hard on yourself. Look at how beautiful the laws are in action. Every single time you inhale And you exhale. And you feel your body begin to relax. And you marvel at it and you say, whoa, wait a minute. This is awesome. All I did was change my mood. And my breathing changed. I could see a little bit differently now. Wow, how absolutely amazing is that? See, when you take the time to do that, you'd be amazed at how simple it is for you to change your life. Because it follows you. You are the impetus of change in your own life. And there's a comfort that comes when you initiate the change you want to experience. But what are you changing? Your mental attitude, your mental mood. That's what you're changing. Why? Because you know that which is within is what is experienced on the outside. Well, how do you say that another way? That which you rehearse, you perform. What you practice, you perform. The way you practice it is the way you will perform it. So you see today, my beautiful friends, it's not just about positive thinking. It is the comprehension of what causes positive thinking to occur. Because I find that when you comprehend, when you understand how it works, you don't have to hope anymore. You don't even have to believe anymore. We're not meant to believe, you know. We are meant to what? Know. So belief is what you know. That's why it's beliefs are relative and they change. But you see, when you know how the principles work, you'll recognize that everything bends to that. So today, my beautiful friends, as you go forth into the world, doesn't matter what you're going through. Not because it's not valid or relevant. It is because you're going through it. Come on, man. You matter. So what you're going through is valid. Yes, yes, it is. Good, bad, or indifferent. But just remember this. You must remember this. Remember, when you know the principles, remember what Morpheus says? It is one thing to know the path. It is another to walk the path. So you know how things are, but do you do it? And the only way to do it is to practice changing that mental attitude at will. At will. Which means do it deliberately. Don't wait till a situation has you by the short and curlies, leaves you feeling that you can't escape it. No, don't wait till it gets there. As soon as you start to feel that thing come up, you say, whoa, whoa, slow your roll. That is not the mental attitude I want. This is, and you turn to it. There's a way to use the willpower so that it doesn't drain. Okay? That's to do it deliberately, not forcing. Okay, Pookie, I hear you. I'm coming to feed you. He reminds me when he says, "You're going over time." Who's here with us today? Truth and Second Chance, I see you. Well, grand rising to you too, Kimberly, darling. Melly Mel is in the house. I see you, Melly Mel. Ray Ray. Commander, I see you. Well, Twitter is as Twitter is for the replay gang. But I will leave you with that this glorious Wednesday, double shift day. I will leave you with that. Practice. Why? Because you will perform what you practice. Countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 love. Peace out, everybody. And as always, if you have questions, slide into my DMs and let me know. All right. Peace out, everybody.